Hey everybody, how's it going? And welcome back to another episode of The Binding of Isaac: Repentance. Whoops, got my mouse out of the way there. In the last episode, we did our very first run, and in this episode we're going to continue. I recorded the first episode just earlier today, but I wanted to record more because I like this game, so yay. Now, we could play as Isaac again, and play further into the game, but we also unlocked quite a few extra characters. We unlocked Cain, we unlocked Zazel, and we unlocked Lazarus. We could also unlock other characters during this run by doing things like having 7+ heart containers to unlock Magdalene. I can't remember how you unlock Judas. Eve unlocked by not picking up hearts for 2 levels. Samson unlocked by beating 2 levels without taking damage, so on and so forth. There are a bunch of different characters, and fun fact, not all the characters in the game are listed here. Some are hidden. But this time we're going to play with Cain, because he's the closest to Isaac. Now, Cain starts with slightly less health and range than Isaac, but slightly higher speed and damage, I believe, and a key. He also starts with the item the Luck Foot, which increases your luck by 1 and makes it slightly easier to win like the shell game, which is like a little thing that you can play. I'm sure we'll see one of those this run or next run or at some point. But I think they also buffed the Luck Foot in Repentance, and I think that it gives you good pills only now. I think because I was reading on the wiki the other day, and so I think that that's a thing. I don't know. Either way, we're going to have a little adventure here, and we found our boss already. You may have noticed in the last episode and in this episode these enemies that are of a different color than the other ones, where it's there's a specific enemy, but then you have one that's green, like this one. Well, those are called champion enemies. And A, they do more damage to you, B, they have more health than the average enemy, and C, they often have something special that happens when they die. Like for instance, that dark green one that we just killed explodes when he dies. So, just important to keep an eye out. In general, it's best to stay as far away from champions as you can possibly stay. Ooh, and we got a golden key. A golden key does not give you another key to unlock things, but it does make it so that anything that you unlock for the rest of the floor that you're on doesn't cost any keys to unlock. So it's very nice to pick up. Not so great on the first floor when we don't have a huge amount of things to unlock, but still pretty nice. This is not a room I think I've ever seen before. But we're gonna make it to our item room here in a minute, which is probably the most important place on the first floor. Alrighty. That is like a little mixed heart. I think it'll refill. Oh man, it's gonna be one of those runs. It'll refill a heart and also make a spirit heart. I don't know, but this is Fruitcake. Rainbow effects. Basically what Fruitcake does is it gives you completely random effects every tier. So it can provide you with good things, it helped us blow up Gluttony there pretty fast. I generally don't like it though, just because it's a little random for me, which some people enjoy. It's not generally my... I don't even know what happened there. It's not my favorite part of the game, the random items. They kind of freak me out actually, because they're hard to control. But this is Dingle. He's a little dingle. But so far, Fruitcake seems to be treating us fairly well. I have no idea what's making our tiers drop coins, but I don't freaking know, man. We'll figure it out at some point, probably. There is definitely some effect that's causing my tears to sometimes explode, which I hope to not incur too often. This is a pretty good item. Pajamas. They give you 4 spirit hearts. It also completely refills your red hearts, but that's obviously not too much of an issue for us right now. We're going to come back up here, and we're going to get this little thingy. Now, come to think of it, I think I mentioned this in the last episode, but I didn't actually explain it. I mentioned that it was important for us to get up to 5 cents before we went to the second floor. Now, that's because whenever you have 5 cents or more, when going to an even numbered floor, like 2, 4, 6, and so on, there's a chance for an arcade to spawn, which is a special room where you can gamble for money. I don't remember if we got one last episode, but I don't remember explaining it, so freaking no, man. But there's the arcade, which is cool. That guy also dropped something. Rune shard. It still glows faintly. No freaking clue what that does. Well, this guy wants bombs, this guy wants money, and this guy also wants money. But I've never seen this guy, so I have no idea what he does. This is a blood bank. We can hurt ourselves for cash. Which sounds like a stupid idea. And in some ways it is. But also, it can be very useful. That's a pretty good item. I don't know what that actually did. I used the rune shard. I think it gave me a half a spirit heart. But that's Sagittarius, which gives you a speed up and gives you piercing shots. Which, you know, pierce. What the f*** is that? I have no idea. But piercing shots are really good. Would be great if I could, you know, control my shots in the slightest. I can't, but that's just how it be, I guess. No clue what's up with that thing. I would love a bomb, because that's a tinted rock. I mentioned those last episode. They have stuff in them. Stuff is good. But part of the reason why I wanted an arcade was that I could get a bunch of money this run. And donate it. For instance, when we get to the 20th cent, we get the second level store upgrade, which I can't remember for the life of me what it does, but we want to get to it. The maximum for the donation machine is $999, so gonna take a while to get there, no doubt. We haven't killed everything, apparently. Oh, there's one tiny green fly left. Also, you may be wondering, man, what are all these fanciful effects that, like, the fruitcake is giving us? Or the rainbow cake, whatever it's called. And I would explain every single one of them, but there's so many of them that it's just gonna take forever, and some of them I don't even recognize because they're new with Repentance, so I got no clue. Two of Hearts is a card that isn't a tarot card, it's obviously a playing card. And what it does is all the 2 playing cards will double some aspect of your character. Like, for instance, 2 of Hearts will double the amount of red hearts that are currently in our red heart containers. Ooh, that's tempting. If we got like a 2 of Spades, it would double the amount of keys we have. 2 of Clubs would double the amount of bombs we have, so on and so forth. We are going to come over here and blow this up. Gave us Spirit Hearts and access to the secret room, which had 5 cents in it, which is good. Gonna come down here, do a little more donating. Apparently I'm not gonna do any more donating than that. That's cool, whatever. I'm not bothered in the slightest. Almost walked into that fire. To the boss! The Duke of Flies. Otherwise known as the Duke of Dies. You know, I'll be honest with you. This run, so far, is giving me a newfound appreciation for, the fruitcake. Because I normally don't take it, because I took it once and I was like, this is terrible. But this is giving me an awful lot of power, which I appreciate. Okay, so there's a bunch of different items here. We got Guppy's Paw last time. I think I am still gonna take it, just because it's gonna be useful. First we're gonna take this, though, which is the item, the Whore of Babylon, which makes it so that once you're at a certain level of health, it gives you a speed and damage boost. So we're going to take Guppy's Paw. I could take this item too. This is We Need to Go Deeper, which just creates a trapdoor down to the next floor, so it's not very good. So we're gonna not pick it up. We are going to activate Guppy's Paw, though, which then puts us in the Whore of Babylon state, which is nice. And we're gonna pick that up. What we just picked up is an Eternal Heart. Those are basically, they don't provide you any extra health or anything on the floor that you get them, but if you manage to keep them around until the next floor, it'll grant you a whole nother heart container, which is pretty good. Another rune shard, and another rune shard. I'm thinking what those rune shards do is probably, like, it seems to be a random minor version of, like, regular runes, which runes are kind of like cards and pills. I don't think we've actually unlocked any of them yet, though, so we can't actually see their normal effects. But we'll see them later on at some point. Okay, we're getting... Oh, right, because we got another heart, so we're automatically out of the Whore of Babylon state. And I think we're going to immediately go back in, because I think that that extra damage and speed will be invaluable to us. These guys are annoying to fight. They're literally never not annoying. Although I suppose if there are some situations in which they wouldn't be as annoying. Ignore me. Don't listen to a single thing I say. There's basically nothing I have to say of any value. Okay, this is interesting. I'm looking at these rocks to find tinted rocks, and I can't see any. There's a pretty high chance that if you're very familiar with this game, you can probably see things, different
shot speed up.
See different tinted rocks very easily, and I cannot, so you're gonna have to bear with me, my friends. You're gonna have to bear with me. In case you're wondering what Polydactyl does, which is the item that we just picked up, it makes it so that you can hold two items, whether it's hold two consumable items like cards, pills, etc. These tarot cards are more useful to us than the Two of Hearts, because the Two of Hearts does nothing for us because we don't have any red hearts. And if we do have them, we're probably going to immediately Guppy's Paw them away, just to keep the Whore of Babylon state going. I don't remember if we got any of those last run, but that little item that I just picked up is a trinket, and now we're fighting Chub, which is a new boss. Trinkets give you, are kind of like items, except you can hold only one of them at a time, and they provide much smaller effects, but some of them are incredibly powerful. Some of them less so. They're generally pretty useful. Pushpin, the trinket that we just picked up, occasionally gives us piercing shots and spectral tears. Piercing shots we already have. Spectral tears makes it so that your shots go through rocks instead of bouncing off of them. And we got the Cat O' which is a shot speed and damage up. So now our shots are incredibly fast, just zipping through. And more damage is literally... I don't think there's a single situation in which damage is not helpful. I don't know why that mushroom blew up, but by God it did. And more stuff. I wonder... I thought it might have been the secret room. It was not, and that probably wasn't even a good place to look, but whatever. Doesn't look like there's a whole hell of a lot left on this floor. I think those might be my least favorite kind of champions. Those ones that we just fought, because they have like this force field around them. Like, some of them have like a force field around them that sucks things into them, which makes it hard to hit them and hard to dodge them. But some of them have like this like sort of like pulsing energy about them, and it makes it so that sometimes your shots just get deflected, which is a massive pain in my butt. Like a gigantic pain in my butt. So large. You may also wonder what that room back there with the spikes in it was. That is a self-sacrifice room where you can hurt yourself on the spikes to potentially gain stuff. What stuff do you gain? Well, we'll have to find that out at another time. That is interesting. This is a dice room. The dice rooms provide different effects when you step on the die in the center, and so they vary completely from room to room. There might be various different effects. This one, I believe it re-rolls all the items, all the consumables that are on the ground, like that key and that penny. But we wanted the spirit heart and we wanted the key, so we'll just re-roll this penny into half a red heart, which is objectively worse for us. But whatever. Nothing particularly good in this curse room. Golden horseshoe. Feel lucky? Well, I don't remember what the golden horseshoe does, but it's probably going to be better for us than the pushpin, which only is half effective right now anyway. So we're going to use this hermit card. And what the hermit card does is it teleports you to the shop, wherever that may be on this current floor. Which lets us get out of that curse room with minimal consequence. And that guy's dead. And it brought us pretty close to our item room as well, which is pretty darn useful. I am really starting to feel Pain's reduced range, though. Especially because some of these, like, random tier effects from the fruitcake are really causing my shots to kind of suck. And we're gonna take this. This is Stigmata. Damage and HP. Pretty self-explanatory. This thing is a restock box right here. You can basically put coins into it or blow it up to potentially re-roll items and various things in the room. They're useful. But Stigmata's pretty good, so I'm picking it up regardless. And we're out of the Whore of Babylon state, and I just noticed that, so boopty-scoopty. And we're powerful again. My god. Oh my butt. Ooh, another double key room. As you've seen on this floor already, there's multiple kinds of rooms that cost 2 keys to get into. I have no idea why that guy just teleported. One of which, the dice room, we've already seen. Dice room? Die room? We've already seen the dice room, but this one is a chest room, which doesn't have much in it for us right now, except for some money. But if we get some more keys, we should come back here and open these chests. They could have good stuff in them. Yeah, I still... Ooh, range up, that's good. I still am not a huge fan of the fruitcake, just because I like to have more control over things. But so far it seems to be treating us pretty well. I don't think we've really gotten screwed by it at all so far. Come on, dude, pop up. Come on. Thank you, my friend. The Sun. The Sun is a good card. I'll explain what it does when we use it. But first we're going to use this Death card. Death card does a bunch of damage to enemies in the room. It's not super useful against bosses, because bosses tend to have a bunch more health. But against rooms like that one, where there's a bunch of annoying, smaller enemies, incredibly useful. Another power pill. As you can see, by the way, unless you have the item PhD, all pills are, like, hidden what they do to you until you take one. But then once you've taken one, you know that pill for the rest of the run. And we're fighting Gertie again. We're gonna use this power pill and do as much damage to him as we can. Unfortunately, the power pills aren't really that good. We did about half of his health, but honestly, I think we could have done more than that faster if we just shot him with our tears, so I don't know, man. I still got hit, so I'm one to fucking talk. And HP, which I'm not going to immediately Guppy's Paw, even though we kind of need the damage from Whore of Babylon, just because we don't, you know, there's an HP cap. So I bumped my blinds. I don't really want to use the Guppy's Paw for essentially what is just half a Spirit Heart, because that's kind of a waste. There's some situations in which that might be more beneficial than not, but this is not one of them. These guys suck too. Basically every enemy in this game, there's a situation in which they suck. Except for the little tiny flies who don't really do much. They're like tiny, like gray flies that don't do much, and they don't really chase you. They're more there just to be annoying if you walk into them. And they're the kind of enemy where if you run into them and you take damage from them, it's kind of your fault. Like, it's not the game being unfair, it's you walked into them, bro, you know? And I don't think that's worth it. Those iron chests are probably just going to pay out with consumables, which we do need, but I really don't feel like fighting for them right now. Maybe it's actually worth it. If there was like a guarantee that it was keys, I'd probably take it. I don't know what the hell was happening there. This is another trinket. The tapeworm. I'm not 100% certain on what tapeworm does. I think it, like, really increases your range or something like that. I have no idea, man. I don't actually really have what Golden Horseshoe does internalized either, but it's kind of sexier than tapeworm, so... Which is an interesting sentence, if I've ever said one. I have no idea what I just did to that guy, but it sure looked like I froze him and smashed his face against a wall. Which, hey, honestly, sometimes your day just has to be like that. It is about time for us to maybe use Guppy's Paw, though, because it's not going to be a waste at this point. But we'll have to see, we'll have to see. New item. Item is Spider Butt, which does a little bit of damage to everything in the room and slows them down for a little bit. I honestly think it's not that good, but we'll show you what it does, just in case you want to see. Well, it doesn't... Oh, this room sucks. I'm gonna use a bomb, because fuck walking over the spikes. Tinted Rock gave us regular stuff. Over here, Spider Butt. See, it didn't even kill these bats. It's not the worst item in the game, especially because you can use it like every other room, but it's still not great. This also reminds me of the fact that we have not used the sun yet, and at this point it's probably a waste to do so. But what the sun does is almost literally the exact same as the death card, except it also reveals a bunch of the map to you, which can be useful if you have no idea where you're going, you often don't have any idea where you're going. Alrighty. Oh, my face. Actually, I think I do know what destroyed that guy, but I don't know for certain. Alright, we're gonna come in here. We have an item, we have a sack, which gives you random consumables, and we have a pill. What I'm gonna do is ponder my decision while I take a drink of my coffee. Delicious. We're gonna buy the item. I would normally donate a bunch, but it already tapped out. But it gave us Tarot Cloth. And now Tarot Cloth is an interesting item in the fact that it doubles the effects of all cards. So for instance, we use the Justice card there, and it didn't just give us like one of each type of consumable, it gave us two of each type of consumable. So you can imagine how that would be incredibly useful. It's not actually even like barely scratching the surface of how powerful Tarot Cloth can be in the right situation. But I'm guessing just based on where we're at in the run that we're probably not going to get to see that, but there are some situations in which, you know, it could save our run, theoretically. It could also be relatively meaningless, but considering we couldn't donate anymore, relatively meaningless is fine. These guys kind of suck. And I froze him again. And somehow that made everything okay. Don't know what's up with the big battery. I can only assume that it's fine. This is the gate. The gate's a bit of a pain. He's pretty tanky. And he has some hard to dodge patterns. But so long as he mainly focuses on spawning dudes, we should be fine. Of course, right up until those dudes start to overwhelm us, at which point we're not fine anymore. But he's dead, yay! Long live the gate. Woo! And we got growth hormones, which is exactly what you want in your Happy Meal. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this item. Guppy's... Oh, excuse me. The parasite has appeared in the basement. You guys can't see that achievement. I got an achievement for that, but okay, fine. Rotten Baby, the other item, is pretty good. Spawns a fly that does extra damage to you every now and then. But Guppy's Tail, what that does is it makes it so that chests appear more frequently than other items, which can be good, can be bad. There's a specific reason why I picked it up, other than just, hey, more chests. And I'll explain that if that situation comes up. If not, I'm gonna keep staying quiet, because that's what I do best. Quiet. When I'm not talking, I'm at peace. I definitely don't love the sound of my own voice. These guys are a pain in the ass. Especially when you can't really aim at them, but whatever. We should use the sun, shouldn't we? I keep meaning to do that. We'll do it at the first annoying room. This is annoying, there we go.
The sun.
Alright. Pretty well gives us stuff. Can't aim for shit because of fruitcake. Alright, and a chest. It was worthwhile. I'm gonna just, like, declare whenever something's worthwhile out loud. Like, I'm just gonna say, oh, that was worth it, that wasn't. Item room. This is interesting. The Ludovico technique. It makes it so that your tier, instead of firing tiers, you sort of control your tier telekinetically. Like, kind of like patting your head and rubbing your stomach at the same time. So, you know. Some people don't like this item. I like it. Granted, I have fruitcake, which probably makes it terrible. Ooh, more money. We're gonna buy this item because it's on sale. Broken watch. And we'll explain in a second. And we're gonna buy another spirit heart. And then we're gonna buy a PhD. And then we're gonna quit buying stuff, and then we're gonna take this luck up pill. PhD, we saw what that did last time. Whoops, didn't mean to walk over those spikes. It gives you all not bad pills. I say not all bad instead of all good, just because some good pill effects that are classified as good in the game are not good. I have no idea why this game is being so slow all of a sudden, but that's fine. The other item we picked up, the broken stopwatch, is an alright item. I picked it up more or less because it was on sale. What it does is it gives a random chance for a room to be slow when you walk into it, like all the enemies to be super slow and easy to dodge. The only problem with it is that it also gives us, admittedly, much lower chance, but still a chance to speed every enemy up in the room. So, bit of a double-edged sword, but I figured it's on sale, so why the hell not? Otherwise, there's not a huge amount that we want from this floor, because we can't really do much with the arcade, and we can't exactly go to the boss challenge room because we need to be at lower health for that. I think I just hit the full screen button, so if that screwed up the recording at all, I apologize. Here we go! And it looks like she's been slowed down. A lucky rock has appeared in the basement. Wow, she really got slowed down. Either that or the game's being laggy on top of everything else, I can't tell. Oh, narrowly avoided death there. I think the game's being laggy? I can't tell, it's not usually that laggy. It's a pretty stable game most of the time. Oh. That was pretty easy. Whoops, I said that was easy, as though I'd won, and I had not yet won. Consolation prize. +1 to your lowest stat. That sound was the sound of my phone. I'm sure it's fine. Down to the next floor, which we now unlocked because we beat Mom last time. So we've unlocked more floors. Woo! We've unlocked the womb, which is, you know, nice and gross looking. Ooh, whoopsie daisies. Now, the interesting thing to note is that once you get to this point in the game, from the womb 1 onward, you always take 1 full heart of damage from every instance of damage. So, the game gets more difficult from this point on. Especially difficult when you accidentally ram your face into the enemies. Which, you know, it's whatever, man. It's whatever. So far in these videos, these 2 that I've recorded on the same day, so I have no idea what anybody thinks of them, it's, I don't know, I've felt very, like, spastic, but also at the same time, I feel like it seems fun. I don't know. This item is Matchbook. It gives you a black heart, and also some bombs, and this trinket that makes it more likely for bombs to appear. I have no idea what this item is. I've never seen it before. Orphan Socks. Speed up, and your feet feel stronger. Well, speed up I appreciate. I have no idea what your feet feel stronger means. Whoopsie daisies. Maybe there's a chance, because there's a trinket in the game called the Callus, which makes it so that you don't take damage from spikes on the ground or from the little slime that the enemies leave on the ground. So maybe it's like that. I have no idea. Either way, speed up's useful, so... You can also imagine that because everything does, you know, double damage now, going to curse rooms is significantly more risky. In fact, it's twice as risky. Who could have guessed? I don't know why I'm putting this bomb here, I just had a good feeling. I was wrong, but I had a good feeling. Clearly I had the wrong feeling because that was the one that I was supposed to be going to. Alright. This is the Vibrant Bulb. It gives you a bonus when your spacebar item is fully charged. Your active item. Oopsie daisies. Which, granted, I don't know how it works with Guppy's Paw at all. It might not work in the slightest. But it might. I have no idea. I used a rune shard there, which seems to have broken some of the like polyps and stuff. So we got Blood Clot, which occasionally makes it so that we'll have damage and range up. And this item, or whatchamacallit, chest gave us Magic 8 Ball, which is a shot speed up, which is useful. I also apparently unlocked the Planetarium, which must be a repentance thing because I have no idea what that is.
The world.
And, you know, honestly, we're going to come back here and we're going to fight this mini-boss just because there's a chance it could give us health, and that's useful. Envy. Envy sucks. It's not that bad right now because of how we handled things. Apple of Sodom, it feels empty. Well, fine, we'll see what this does. Envy breaks up into multiple parts and is generally a big, giant pain in the butt. And it would appear that Apple of Sodom makes it so that you can pick up red hearts in exchange for spiders, which is interesting. Certainly gives us a reason to go for red hearts when we don't actually have any red heart containers. The spiders are, I believe the way they work, and you shouldn't quote me on this because I could be wrong. I believe the way they work is that they do twice your tier damage. So every time a spider hits something, it's essentially like we shot it with 2 tiers, which is useful. The flies that we had last episode work much the same way, except I think it's like they're 1.5 times the tier damage. So, useful. Not quite as useful as the spiders, but they're far more common to get than the spiders, so pick your poison, I guess. Whoopsie daisies, we nearly got hit there. I'm amazed we didn't get hit. I'm honestly playing a lot better than I usually play. I'm not terrible at this game, but boy howdy, I'm not that great. So I'm proud of myself so far. I have no idea what the hell these things are, and they scare me. A big problem with the Ludovico technique on rooms like this is that it's kind of hard to keep track of the tier in how large the room is. And that was terrible. I don't know why I created a bunch of like tick-looking things, but I created them, and I would very much like them all to die in a fire. And those ticks gave a bunch of money and spawned more tick-spawning things. I would like you to please die. Please and thank you. Magic words. I thought there was a burning guy back there, and there was not, so I must have killed him in my sleep accidentally. Alrighty. The devil. That's a useful thing. We'll use this rune shard.
Rune shard.
I have no idea what that did. I got no clue. The rune shard will probably start to make more sense when we unlock the runes in the first place, so we'll know what those mean. The bloat. May be one of my least favorite bosses in the base game. It seems to be slowed, and isn't very difficult right now, but believe you me, we're gonna probably find a situation in which he's a giant pain in the ass. Wooden spoon, speed up. Okay. Well, first of all, there's an enemy in this room, so let's deal with that first. Secondly, this is a familiar item, which is very powerful. Exceptionally powerful, and no doubt we're gonna pick it up at some point. But I don't think that it's worth 3 spirit hearts right now, just because of the amount of health that we have, and we don't really have any solid way of making more health, so I think we're gonna leave it for now. If I end up dying, I'll blame that. Take another sip of my coffee. Ah, delicious. And now we're on Womb 2. You may have also noticed that in the last floor, it wasn't actually called Womb 1, it was called Utero 1. That's because each and every, floor, you know how we started out on the basement, and then we went to the caves, and then we went to the depths? Each floor essentially has a more difficult variant that it can swap through. Like, for instance, the basement. Ooh, Mr. Mega is here in the basement. The basement can sometimes be the cellar, the caves can sometimes be the catacombs, the depths can sometimes be necropolis, and in the case of the womb, it can sometimes be utero. So, just a slightly more difficult version. I believe that there are also, I don't believe, I know that there are more versions of the floors, like a third, even more difficult version. But I don't remember exactly how you unlock those, so we'll see them when we see them. There's an arcade, but I dare say there's not a hell of a lot that we can do with that. We can't, sacrificing our health for money is even more short-sighted than sacrificing it for the familiar that we saw last floor, because there's no benefit. Linger Bean, crying makes me toot. I'll be honest with you, I have no idea what that does. I think it makes it so that the more you fire your tears, there's like a cloud of gas that shows up. I want to say. I can't remember. But there wasn't a huge amount for us to do with an arcade at this point in the game, regardless. I wish that I had like a death card or something like that, because that would be useful. I just realized I have the sun card, but also at the same time, it feels like it's too late to use it now, you know? Like, I feel like I have to commit to this room, to this floor. Like, I can't just, like, map my way out of it, you know? Although I will admit, sometimes I do wish I had the map from Dora the Explorer. And which child of the early 2000s doesn't? I think it'd just be convenient to always know where I'm going. And not have to rely on my smartphone. Screw it, sun card.
The sun.
Yeah, we didn't really need to do that, but whatever. I did it because I'm cool, and I unlocked that because I'm an idiot. And the final boss of the womb / utero is always Mom's heart. So, much like how Mom is always the boss of the depths / necropolis, the boss of the womb / utero is always Mom's heart. Which shouldn't be too difficult with our current setup. Hopefully. I just have to not take damage.
Rune shard.
Don't really know what the rune shard did there, but I can only assume that it was useful. Woo! We won. Alrighty. That was episode 2 of The Binding of Isaac Repentance. In that one, we unlocked Eden, who's another new character, which is incredibly fun to play as. But I dare say that'll be all for this episode. If you enjoyed it, please feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, any of which would mean the world to me, and I would deeply appreciate, and I'd love you forever. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a good one.